we are in the correct category. Good. Hi there, welcome to Zero Time Dilemma. Today we are trying to get the final ending. Let's see what we can do. The final ending. Okay. There are a few things. One of them is that we need to open the force quit box with Q team. And we do have the correct numbers for that now. The question is, where's Daisy? There it is. Okay. Force quit box. Okay, it's actually not the force quit box here, but this is that code. And that should be 3808. 808. 0832. 0832. We have obtained this code because Zero told us what the code is.
Ah, it opened!
Now all we have to do is insert the plug here.
So where is this plug?
I think if we input the right numbers here.
What?
Wait. What do numbers for your head have anything to do with the plug for this?
I should just do it. You might get it then.
Stop avoiding the question!
Do you even
Shut up,
know
Eric.
what should go there?
Shut
The
up,
numbers. The numbers are,
We know the numbers. We do. It's 6140. 4091. Progress. Yay.
Are you kidding me? You're... Ah!
Yes, Eric, he's an alien. Of course he is. What did you expect? Strange boy. Eric is always like that. So scared. Even
Eric,
she's
it's been
pissed
an
off.
hour. Would you just get used to it already?
How can I? I mean, it's a robot! For real? Could you maybe do something about it?
is this better?
Yeah. Now the shape brings out your eyes.
So this doesn't freak you out or anything at all?
I could say the same to you.
Well, not much phases me. I'm just not that type. You could have been a Martian for all I care.
Yeah, I was surprised when I first found out. I thought my heart was in my throat.
You don't have a heart.
Hey, hold on. Did you say when you first found out?
I meant, it happened to me before. In the past. In another history.
Another?
I remembered everything. when I saw what I looked like earlier.
Blah, blah, blah.
You see, my brain isn't located in this head. My thought center is there, inside the quantum computer. That is where I think, perceive, and send command signals to this body. For example, when I raise my hand like this, it's simply receiving a command, just like a remote-controlled toy. Did you know? A quantum state is one where all possibilities overlap and coexist. This quantum computer, then, is able to use this state and run, say, simulations A, B, and C simultaneously. Basically, my brain is an infinite number of worlds and possibilities. So I can use that framework and, well, jump between other histories.
Oh, there's no way.
That I could do that? But it's possible that you two might be undergoing the same thing. There's a theory. Human consciousness may be a result of quantum effects in the brain. It's called quantum mind. It's more or less suggesting a human brain is a form of quantum computer. If a specific set of conditions are met, then you too can
Jump to other histories?
This sounds like crazy talk.
You don't believe me?
Of course not.
Oh, I don't blame you. I guess I should explain everything then.
Please? Start at the beginning.
Before I
us.
begin, I need to do one little thing.
Please spare us. Sean! Sean! Don't explain to us Ice 9 again. Please. Please. Please, Sean. Don't.
What did you just do?
Just a little something.
Yeah. He's smart. He's cutting off Zero. Which is good.
Nothing changed. Huh.
That we can see. But it looks like the message changed.
Yes, I started up the system earlier.
It says force quit program on standby. To initiate, 2 key items must be set. What does that even mean?
Wait, it seems like there's something else.
The key items are...
A mother's mementos?
I wonder what those could be.
So, this is saying we need to find them?
Does that mean they're hidden around here somewhere?
Even if that's true, I don't think we have the time.
Damn. Guess our time's up.
Now it is time for you to sleep. When next you wake, know you will have no memory of these past 90 minutes.
I know.
Pleasant dreams.
Except Mira and Sean. Okay. There's a new section, there's a new section, and there's a new section, and I think it all leads to the same section. Most likely. Ah, bring me back here. Okay, So, I'm gonna do this. Final decision, and this means also this is the final section.
I knew it! Looks like the memories we regained are true after all.
The 3 wards were all in the same place. Then...
Carlos!
Akane, Junpei,
And Mira and Eric.
And you're Sean, right?
Carlos, what happened?
Proof of friendship.
Anyway, what are you guys doing here?
According to the schedule, C team and Q team should both still be asleep.
We took a page out of your book and did what you did. We used the cards to keep the bracelet needle from injecting us.
So, does that mean?
Yeah, I remember everything.
I do too.
Junpei and I as well.
Over the past few hours, we got back the memories we forgot.
Well, to be more accurate, it's more like we accessed the morphogenetic field and downloaded all of them.
Then
Hi there, Suba.
you have the other history's memories too?
Yes.
How's it going?
Then you're like us.
But why?
Hold up. Eric and I are different.
Yeah. We didn't gain memories from other histories.
Then neither of you got injected?
No, we're the same as Carlos and the others.
I told them. Maybe I'll start from the beginning.
We are basically finishing this game today. This is like the last snippet of story we go through.
First, so I could run the program in the Force Quit box, I accessed the central control computer. Then, I briefly turned off the communication network. That way, I stopped the surveillance cameras from sending any data to Zero. I didn't want Zero to catch on to what we were doing.
And that's when Sean let us in on the truth of what's going on here.
We went over to the transporter room and picked up 2 cards. Before the injection, we each slipped one between our wrist and bracelet.
Okay, now you two make sense. But what about you, Sean?
Well, you probably already know, but I'm a robot. Being injected does nothing to me.
Then,
Every time the time limit approached, I was forced to go into sleep mode. Then my memories from the previous 90 minutes were deleted. I didn't want that to happen, so... You remember me saying I accessed the computer? Well, I hacked my own system too.
He said he managed to cancel the forced sleep and delete functions.
Yep.
What about C-Team then?
We couldn't interrupt the surveillance cameras, so we had to be sneaky instead.
First, Carlos pushed me down and climbed on top of me.
He what?
It was just an act. I was only pretending to do it.
Carlos used that moment to whisper in my ear. He said to go to the transporter room and grab the cards in there.
But if I just let her go like that, it looks suspicious. So Junpei and I stayed behind to get Zero's undivided attention. I casually invited Junpei to the power room. You can see the results of our conversation.
You should have told me what was up.
If I had, then Zero would have figured it out. You look like you'd be a crap actor.
And after
no.
that?
We met Akane in the lounge. We hid from the cameras, and each got a card from her.
Now you know why they did
Sorry,
this.
but could I get confirmation on something? Everyone knows what all happened in the other histories, right?
Even you, Mira and Eric?
Didn't Eric say so earlier? Sean told us everything.
But wait. Why?
Why what?
Why do we know about the other histories?
Well, that's probably...
You want to know?
Hi, Zero. Delta. Brother.
Q?
Q.
Or maybe it's actually Zero.
You are free to call me by my given name, which is Delta. There's no need to look so threatening. You were the one who named me, Diana. It doesn't matter. I shall answer your question. Carlos, Akane, Junpei, Diana, Phi, and Sigma. All 6 of you know that you are shifters, correct? Mm-hmm. Think back on your path to this very moment. Did you arrive in this history by following a normal flow of time? No, of course you didn't. You jumped in from another history using your shift abilities. And it wasn't just this once. You have been shifting back and forth many, many times, from one point in space-time to another. You boldly took chances, much like jumping from one tree branch to another. You have forgotten that fact, perhaps as a result of the medicine, or as one of the side effects of shifting. Regardless, your memories have been kept firmly intact within the morphogenetic field. It is simply that the 6 of you regained the memories of those times. One small trigger, and the levee preventing you from remembering collapsed. Sean is a similar case. However, his thought center is located within the quantum computer, so I suppose it's slightly different from you.
What about me and Mira?
You are both like me, in that we do not have the ability to shift.
You don't?
Mm-mm. I have another power instead.
Yes.
The power to mind hack.
Yeah.
Mind hack?
That's one last thing that game only explains here at
I
the
am
end.
able to read other people's minds. I know the thoughts and ideas that go through their heads. That's why I know exactly what Phi is trying to do right now. Step away from that device, Phi.
Then, when we blocked the injection,
I saw through your ruse.
Then why did you...
I wanted all of you to play the final decision game.
The final decision game?
I find human decisions fascinating. More specifically, the world branching that occurs as a result. I already mentioned that I am unable to shift. But after looking inside millions of minds, I learned one thing. There are people in this world with the ability to jump between histories. That shifters exist. Hence, why I know so much about these parallel worlds.
You did all this? Because you were curious?
When a person does something significant, it's difficult to boil the reason down to one word. Their motives are often very complex. It is the same now. To fulfill several objectives, it was necessary to trap all of you in here.
So why did you do it?
You want to know? It is so you give birth to Phi and myself, Diana.
What do you mean?
Phi and I are the children of Diana and Sigma.
Phi is...
Wait. They're children?
November 16th, 2029. Phi and I were born in this shelter. This was another history, of course. Shortly after, the atomic data that makes up our bodies was transported to April 1904. The transporter was located in a German research facility at that time. Our bodies reconstructed and regenerated in the export pods at that facility.
But that would mean you're actually...
I'm 124.
You're joking.
But Phi is...
A German researcher sent her to 2008. Records indicate that she was part of an experiment.
You're saying Phi jumped back in time from 2029 to the year 1904, and then forward again to 2008?
Technically, what was sent both times was simply the data makeup of Phi's body.
I heard that in 2008, the device was being studied in an American facility.
That's when an old couple who were researchers took me in.
We've gone off topic. But yes, that was one of the major goals. Everything that occurred here helped create Phi and myself. And when I say that, I am including all of the other histories. If I hadn't trapped the group of you here, then Phi and I would have never been born in our current forms.
Your current forms?
Sean, you should already know about epigenetics. You see, environmental factors determine which switches are activated within the genetic code.
True.
Reproductive cells are the same. Or perhaps I should say that the reproductive cells are the ones most affected.
So what he's actually talking here about, epigenetics, is an actual real thing. This is not made up or anything. This is real. You can see that because the best example for this is basically take an animal in an environment that changes whatever it is, like temperature wise, or it becomes more difficult to find food and so on. That triggers epigenetics in the next generation that will then do different things. That's basically how adaptation works in animals. So let's take climate change for a fact here. So climate change happens, it's gonna get warmer. This will trigger epigenetics for the next generations of animals to trying to adapt to the new environment that is far more warm. For some, that is a good thing because they thrive more in a warmer environment, which also leads to problems. For example, it will be more a problem for other animals. A good example for this is what is the name? Jellyfish. So jellyfish do thrive in warm environments. Since our seas now are becoming more warm, they thrive. They have more offsprings than ever before. But this also leads to the problem that they will take food from other animals that exist, so they will suffer in consequence to that. On top of that, we as humans also suffer because now we have to deal with more jellyfish infestation. This is a problem. Same applies to algae. So we have algae that also thrive in a warm environment, and because of that, more are now present, especially those that create like these huge what is the name? Like carpets, that they're like fields or carpets even on the surface of water. And it becomes a problem because now they become a problem for ships. Because, well, you can imagine if they drive into it, their rotor is getting like stuck with algae, and it becomes a problem. It also becomes a problem because it creates more shadow below the water, which then also affects the sea life below it. So as you can see, it's like this happens for everybody who has genetics, and it is actually a survival mechanism when you want to think about it, right? It even works for us. For example, let's take a human. Normal life, fine, doing fine. Environment changes. This human now has to face an environment where they have to fight for food and survival far more. Like, now they need to put more effort into their own survival. This is going to transfer to the next generations, as they will trigger certain genetics in them that makes them more hardy? They're more resilient to survival, and so on. So yes, it happens everywhere. Epigenetics is a thing, and it is going on with every generation of any species.
Oh, I get it. That's why you made Diana and Sigma play the decision game.
What do you mean?
By backing them into a crisis situation, he caused an epigenetic change within their reproductive cells. I think that's why their children were born with unique powers.
Gold Star. This is the reason I have my mind-hacking abilities. Phi was affected as well. You were born a shifter. D-Team, do you recall what was written on your wall?
When a curious hate oozes calamity.
And rearranging the letters gives you...
No way. What you choose can materialize us.
Oh, our decisions will bring you to life.
That is why the decision games were held. So that the Phi and me, here now, would materialize exactly the way we are.
No, but... Okay, so I get why you had to have Diana and Sigma go through life or death decisions. But the rest of us? had nothing to do with...
I already told you. My motives are complex.
What? Wait, there's more?
Ah! Fuck you, you goddamn old man!
Fine, no!
Damn, Fi. I'm sorry to do that, but it's just an audio save, don't worry. Thank you, Bob.
It's over.
You may be right.
What?
Diana, take this.
How are you, by the way? I'm doing fine. I probably could have slept a little bit longer, but otherwise I'm doing fine. Thank you. I hope you are doing fine as well.
Put it in. Your bluebird, too.
It's ready.
Verified. Key items were set. Executing force quit program. 10 minutes until explosion.
What?
Oh no!
The hell? What is this?
Hey, answer me! What's with that announcement?
Must I explain? This shelter will soon explode. You've worked so hard, only to turn on this facility's self-destruct mechanism.
Oh no.
Sean, access the central control computer.
It's no use. Once the force quit program has been activated, there is no possible way for you to reverse it.
Then what can we do?
I will tell you two good things. First, I suggest checking behind the bar counter.
Oh, no!
Why would you?
Gab's been...
Did you kill Gab?
Yes, with the shotgun you're holding. There wasn't much life left in him anyway.
You monster!
I never expected to hear that coming from you, Sean.
So what's the other thing? You had two things to tell us.
I have the ability to mind hack,
We already know that.
but I've not told you everything about it. Reading other people's thoughts isn't the only thing I can do with mind hacking. It only lasts a moment, but I am able to control someone's body as I wish. Like this.
Eric! Why?
No, for real, my finger just...
Mind hacking.
Understand now. This is my power. So, let's begin. Your final decision game. You have two choices. One, to stay here and wait to die. The other is... The other is...
Well, it's pretty clear what the other choice is.
Hey! What's the other option? What's the other option?
I like how Chompy is like losing it, going like, oh, what is the other options? Like,
5 minutes until explosion.
Well, what should we do?
What about the X door?
And how exactly should we open it? Unless 6 people die, it's gonna stay closed. Or should we start killing each other now?
Mira?
I have an idea.
Which is?
We're going to shift, all of us, together.
Hey, hold on. Like jumping to another history?
But Eric and
I'm sure it will be fine. Remember what I said? Human consciousness may be a result of quantum effects in the brain.
Oh, yeah. You said if certain conditions are met, we can also...
What are the conditions?
First, you need to be exposed to danger. And the other one is...
to be in the vicinity of a group of shifters.
I get it.
We'll resonate, and then Mira and Eric can...
But which history are we going to jump to?
None of the similar histories will work. One team is likely to be dead after the vote.
And we can't shift if there are no bodies for us to jump to, right?
Then... we need to jump to where all of us are alive.
When we're all alive?
Do you mean...
The history, where we won the coin toss.
3 minutes until explosion.
Please, stay silent.
I'm not sure I get it all, but it's a good idea?
What are you saying? There's no way we could do that.
Why not?
Shift isn't simply jumping into bodies in different histories.
Our consciousnesses swap places. Ours for theirs.
We'll be forcing our other selves into these bodies, and they'll die without knowing why.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that?
What?
Well, they're all living without a care off in another history, yeah? One time, they do the coin toss once and win? Don't you think that's unfair?
Mira, you're saying they, but we're talking about ourselves here.
Well, we should consider if those people really are us.
Good point.
The most funny part is like Mira doesn't care. Why should she? Should she care? Really? Like, she is a serial killer. She doesn't care.
If we assume that we here are the true versions, then the us in the other history are essentially strangers.
Even more of a reason not to.
If we shift to that history, then we're tossing the others under the bus to save ourselves.
The us in that history have done nothing wrong. I mean, the only thing they did was win at a coin toss.
You could say the same for us. The only thing we did was lose a coin toss. Even so, we've had to go through so much shit. We've been forced to put our lives on the line.
The more funny part is actually in this entire discussion how Carlos is against it and Sigma is against it. In Sigma's case, it's even more ridiculous when you think about it, because like Sigma already was doing this. Like, when you remember the second game, you know, it's like he has done this in the second game, he has done it in this game, and he's still like, no, we shouldn't do this, except he is doing it like all the time and has, well, mostly no problem with it. Same goes to Carlos. Why is Carlos now so concerned about it? Last time he did a shift, he actually did 2 shifts. Last time he did the last 2 shifts, he basically let himself get shot and killed so he can do it. And then in another way, he basically sacrificed his, well, past to overtake the mind of that version so he could save the people here in this decom thing. So I don't quite get why they are so worked up about it, because so far they have used it pretty, well, casually, more or less. I get the point. They have a point when it comes to an ethical and moral standpoint. They are not wrong. But the question is not really, should you feel bad for sending your other self into this as they have done nothing wrong? It's like, you're right, it's not the correct thing to do. But here's the other question. Do you want to die? That is the far more important question, right? Because if you don't want to die, you will do it. No matter if the consequence is unfair or not towards your other self.
Besides, aren't the bodies in the other histories ours anyway?
Then why should we second guess ourselves?
Huh.
1 minute until explosion.
We're out of time. I'll say it again. We have 2 choices. We can stay here and wait for our deaths, or survive by sacrificing our other selves in another history.
So that's what that bastard meant. The final decision game.
Of course it's gonna give me a decision. So we are doing this first, the bad ending. We don't chip. They're pretty cool about it. Okay, so I don't even know where on this flowchart they have been. It's weird. Oh, it's there. Okay. And then it throws me out. Wow. Why? Okay. Because of this. Because it's not about the decision there to shift or not to shift. Because we are going back in time to this moment. Payoff 2. It's like Payday 2, but different. Nevada Desert Decom.
Damn, I can't remember anything.
Me neither.
Neither can I.
It somehow feels like I made a bet with someone, but
Someone?
What kind of bet?
Did we all forget what happened?
Is it a comfortable bed?
Hey, could I ask all of you something?
No,
Who is this kid?
we don't know. We arrived.
Did we do it?
We're not wearing the bracelets, so I don't know the time. But
Judging by the position of the sun, it's probably noonish.
And the date?
How would I know?
Hey, Mira. Eric. Do you remember me?
Yeah.
I definitely remember you.
then we really did.
Must have worked.
Life is unfair. Don't you think?
Don't you think? Yeah, it was Gab all
You
along.
bastard.
17 years ago, a snail traveled down a narrow path in the park. If that snail hadn't been there, perhaps all of you here would have lived a completely different life than you did. Just one small snail, and everyone's lives, even the world, changed.
So, what's the big deal?
Would you just quit talking nonsense?
I'm so glad you were safe.
Of course we were. You all have shifted in from another history.
Whatever. We gotta call the cops.
And what exactly will that accomplish?
Isn't it obvious? We're throwing you in the slammer.
And my crime?
Murder.
Murder? I see. But I haven't killed anyone. Specifically, in this history, not a single person has died. I strongly doubt the police would listen.
But in the other histories, you...
Did you not pay attention? I don't have the ability to shift. The only reason I know anything of those histories is because I mind-hacked you. In effect, the me you know is a different person than the one before you. Can I be charged for killing someone in another history? If so, then I'd say this world would be full of criminals of all kinds.
What about conspiracy to commit?
Yeah. I'm betting this history's got a bunch of dangerous machines and gimmicks all over the shelter.
Unfortunately, I have removed them all. You've slept for quite a while. Nothing is left in the shelter. No transporter, no quantum computer. Loaded into a truck and taken away. Sean is able to move right now due to radio signals received from a satellite. What? Aren't you happy? I say again, in this history, not a single person has died. Phi and I exist, and there will never be an outbreak of Radical 6. There is only a bright future ahead for all of us. Is this not what you'd call a happy end?
But according to you, all of mankind will die if time passes and nothing is done.
A religious fanatic, a terrorist attack that sparks a nuclear war.
I heard this story. You said you released Radical 6 so that you could kill that person.
The me before you did not say that, but I can't deny it's true.
Radical 6 won't spread throughout the world in this history.
That means that fanatic guy won't die.
Wait, so now humans will go extinct?
Hey, where's that happy future you mentioned?
Interesting. Does that make you angry, Phi?
What?
If so, then we have a serious contradiction. I had prepared a future in another history where 2 billion would survive. But yet, you decided to jump to this history. That means you chose a future where humanity goes extinct, over 6 billion dead.
No, you're wrong, Delta. Nothing in the future has been determined yet.
Smile.
We'll shape the future with our own hands.
I overrated.
Huh. You said something I can get behind, Carlos.
How's it going?
I think so too.
I agree.
Okay, me too.
Mira,
You're right. The future has infinite possibilities.
If we work together, we can accomplish anything.
Humanity's gonna die out? Screw that.
We'll definitely change that horrible future.
Going is
What's
good.
so funny?
Just that.
What the hell do you mean?
Good to hear.
I'm sure I told you in another history that my motives are complex. Imagine, what if?
What if? Season 4. I'm doing fine, thank you.
None of you had experienced the events that occurred in the shelter. You're so determined now to change the future. One of the goals of all of this was to get you into that frame of mind. It's all going according to plan, without a single casualty. I created a future where mankind will be saved. Does that upset you? Are you angry that your life was played with? Very well. I will give all of you one last choice. With that gun there, you will be able to choose whether to kill me now or allow me to leave. I promise I won't use mind hacking on you. You are free to decide. Which shall it be? Pull the trigger or let me go. The fates of you, me, and mankind are all on the line. This is the decision game.
it makes you think, right? When you think about it, the game basically leads you to this future where 6 billion people die, 2 billion survive. But then you also have the events of like, okay, you failed to stop it because you basically went here, but you failed here to do that. And you already know for the next 45 years, like I speak for Akane, like Akane knows then for 45 years she's going to go and prepare a plan to actually bring people there on the moon and things. But then again, you also have the problem that Phi exists and Delta exists, but Delta and Phi can only exist if this here happens. It makes it really complicated to think about what actually caused this. It's really hard to tell. Maybe you can put it... Maybe you can put it really down to one single factor. And I guess this one single factor would be the terrorist who is going to do this atrocious act. If this terrorist didn't decide to do that, then all of this wouldn't be necessary. But because he will do this, might have caused a shifter to go back. The interesting part is also like the first game and the second and the third are only like loosely connected. Loosely connected in the sense of like Jumpy and Akane are from the first game, but the first game's actual intention why the first game happens has nothing to do with the second and the third game. And that tells you like the story, right? The story not of the game, but the story why the second and the third game do exist. The first game was meant as a one-time only game about this experiment and so on, but surprisingly they had a lot of success with it. And of course then it was decided we gonna continue this, but there was like no actual factor to continue the story from the first game, so they basically decided to make a new story, but it will be loosely connected to the first game, aka Jumpy, Akane, and what happened there, the morphogenetic field and shifting. And they took this for the second game, but the second and the third game are like its own story that has not really anything to do with the first. The second game is basically played and ended, and you probably end the game and go like, okay, I get it, but not every question is answered. And then they basically made the third game to close this loop with the second game, to give you the last answers the second game had left open. Granted, the majority of the things that happen in the game, that the game also uses as an explanation for everything, is mostly based on things that we cannot prove. So you just have to accept that. Some things in those games are real, but the majority of it is just like what ifs, so to speak. And I don't think anything is left to do. We have that. They even leave this open, this absolute final decision game. We don't know if Carlos actually is going to shoot Delta or not. In the end, it wouldn't make a difference in anything. Because Delta has no reason to release Radical 6 at this point. So basically, Delta is, well, retiring. He has done his part. It's now up to those guys to actually do it. The only thing in this game, I have to say, that I really question is Mira and Eric. Like, literally, Mira and Eric are like the only two characters in this game where I say, like, why are they there? I mean, he had to make a third team, which makes sense, but he wouldn't have, like, enough people for a third team. So he needed two people. So he picked Mira and Eric because they already know each other. But you know, the thing is, Mira and Eric are the most unlikable characters in this game. You know, Mira is a serial murderer and psychopath. And then you have Eric. And while I give Eric this point of like, yes, you had a traumatic English. Yes, you had a traumatic experience in the past because your mother passed away when you were a kid. Your father turned into an alcoholic and abused and like beat you and your brother. It even ended in the fact that his father killed his one son, Eric's brother, and made Eric basically take care of the dead body by, well, drowning it in a lake. This all led to what Eric was as an adult. And for that, I say, like, I understand this and I feel sorry that he had to experience that. But the thing is, as well, even if you have these experiences, these dramatic experiences, there are ways to work through them, even overcoming them. But instead, we are presented with Eric, who never really worked through those problems, just accepted it is as it is, and it makes Eric an extremely unlikable character. He's extremely unstable. As you can see, how he's running around murdering people and always feel instantly offended if someone says anything against Mira. Mira doesn't care about Eric. Eric is just a toy to her. But Eric is like the literal personification of what we call a simp. And it's just like, you just don't like Eric. Sure, you can accept that he's like this because of his past, but it doesn't excuse his behavior in the end. So, yeah, I personally really, really dislike Eric the most. Mira is second to that. And the rest of the characters we already know. And, yeah. Sean, in the end, would have all the reasons to actually dislike Mira as well, because she is responsible for his death. While Sean is not existing anymore in this game, but since this Sean here, is programmed by the characteristic that Sean was, it would give Sean every reason to dislike Mira. because she killed Sean indirectly. If you don't remember, it's because it's basically because she killed that woman in the park. You know, it was like this consequence. The snail, she decided to go a different way. This way had Mira on it. Mira killed her. And I don't remember the connection between that and the doctor. Doctor tried to go to the hospital, but had then an accident. I am not entirely sure what caused the accident again, but it basically led from that murder to that accident to the fact that the doctor could not go to the emergency operation for Sean, and Sean died with 10 years. At the age of 10 years. So, yeah. So, I understand for the group making why they needed 2 additional characters. I just don't understand why they chose to choose the 2 most unlikable characters. It's weird, but here we are. And yes, this is basically the end of Zero Escape. That's the entire series. And we already played the next game after this, which was AI, the Somnium Files, which I would say like is already like many steps ahead of this game. Like the animations are better, the story is better, the characters are better. So yeah. And there's also a second game to AI, which I'm going to play. But I'm not sure yet which game is going to replace Zero Time Dilemma yet. I will decide about that. But yeah, that's basically the end of this series. I just like it because it puts interesting things into the room and says like, what if? Sure, it doesn't make much sense in most situations, but it's an interesting thought process going on with it. And I find that kind of more interesting and appealing than a predictable story.